You're still doing everything, all the boxes are being ticked off, you're still doing your normal work and everything, but still not getting that excitement. That was one of the reasons why back of my mind I always kept on thinking probably it's time to change. If I'd known this earlier, it's all about things would have been different.
Here today, I'm with Ankur, and I'm just going to kick straight off into it, Ankur, because I know you're a really busy man. Even when you're doing really well, when it starts to plateau, how does that feel?
To put into perspective, I left my full-time job when the market was very, very bad in 22-23.
Yes.
I had a very high-paying job and I left it, and that's when I decided, yeah, I want to give my 100% to real estate. That was kind of challenging myself. In my old office, I was really comfortable, right? Been there from day one of my real estate and did a lot of sales, a lot of learnings, a lot of good friends. You're still doing everything, all the boxes have been ticked off, you're still doing your normal work and everything, but still not getting that excitement. That was one of the reasons why back of my mind I always kept on thinking probably it's time to change, and that's when I probably approached you and made this decision to come and join Northwest.
I really enjoyed the transition, Ankur, that you've made over to Northwest Realty, and your impact has been instant from the get-go. And thanks for sharing your insights of how you're feeling. What do you think some of the early signs that a salesperson or an agent might start to begin to feel that they might be outgrowing their current environment?
What I felt, I can share what I felt with you. So there's a very good quote that I've read somewhere probably this morning where it says, you realize it when the energy fades before the performance does. Yeah. Right? So it's the time when you know that you're not excited to work, the sales are coming but you're not feeling that challenge, things are plateaued, that's when you know it's time to move.
I know you haven't radically changed your day-to-day. Why have you made such a big impact on the move over to here?
Right, it's the same, everything is still the same system, same processes that I've been using all this time, but probably it was a different mindset. As I mentioned previously, surrounded by very, very high quality top agents around you, right? And the way they're hustling and juggling and things are moving around. Look, I cannot point out any particular thing, it's everything. It's your leadership, whether it's the admin support or the marketing support, it's just everything. You know, I mean, as I mentioned previously, every day you come along, the top agents you can talk to, you either walk away feeling inspired or challenged, and both fuel growth.
Look, I've got so much respect for anybody that gives a 100% commission-driven environment a really good go. But what I notice the difference between those who make it and some that don't is that there's a sense of personal responsibility around your own business, because it is running your own business, and you've taken the bull by the horns there and taken full responsibility. And once you make that big step of full ownership of where your future lies and taking responsibility for everything you do, whether that's in your work or whatever else you're doing outside of work, the sky is the limit at that point. There's no salary cap on what you can earn. It becomes a blue sky environment.
Your mindset is your cap.
Yes, your own thoughts can become your own mental handbrake on things. Yeah. In terms of keeping your performance at that optimum and the structure that you're displaying, what are some things you might have wished you'd learned earlier that you can share with people out there that are going through the same thing?
In this tough market, everyone goes on saying the same thing. The market is polarized, the market is tough. But look at the good agents, they're still making money, right? They're still minting money. They're still selling, they're still listing. Everything is happening in their life. And we are here mourning, saying the market is bad, there's no one coming to the open home, and things like that. I said, if I'd known this earlier, it's all about your mindset. Things would have been different. Don't believe what you hear, do what you believe.
I guess to drill down further on what makes salespeople tick and what drives them to achieve results that they want to consistently achieve, obviously there needs to be a measure of what measures their performance. And I guess that can be quite personal, and it's probably quite personal to you. And there's always that man in the mirror moment where the only person you don't want to lie to is the person staring back in the mirror. And so you've got to be genuine around how you measure performance. How do you benchmark that?
Todd, as you said, I mean, just like any other agent, I would have my business planning in plan, right? And then you have all these numbers booked into your system and where you can track them on a weekly basis. But those are just numbers, right? But when you ask me how do you measure, I would say it's more to do with, am I happy? Has my day been full of activities? I've got written sales, bad activities, vendor activities. And if I'm doing all these activities, I would say I'm busy. I would say I'm happy, I'm satisfied, because things will follow and success will follow.
I think if you're in an environment where your business has become stagnant, let's not blame the market. Maybe you need to ask yourself a really truthful question. Are you doing everything you can to ensure that your business is growing or at least turning over? But if you can't answer that question honestly, maybe you need to have a rethink about how to refresh your business.
Attitude is altitude. and I 100% believe in it.
If there's a salesperson's out there considering a move but are really afraid of losing what they've built, because you were already up and running and a well-known operator before you move, got any tips or advice for someone to navigate that challenge? Because I'd imagine it was a challenge.
100%, Todd. Look, so working in an environment where you've learned everything, you're comfortable, everything was okay, you had good mentors, so you sometimes think, is there a need to make any move? But being honest, you don't know until you make a move. All right, so if you want to know what it involves in the outer world, you always have to keep moving. If you move to a better place, you know what's there for you.